Hello everyone, welcome back to my session. So in this class, we'll be discussing about the conditional statements. What are conditional statements and types of conditional statements we'll be seeing here. So in the previous session, we have seen the type conversions in Python. So in this session, we'll go with conditional statements. So before entering into the conditional statements, I will explain why these conditional statements are coming into the picture and why they are important. So in Python, in any other programming language, one of the most important thing is that decision making, because decision making is giving some direction to the execution. So if you want to execute any code in the programming language, the direction you need to give direction to it, how to execute the code, and flow of execution is very important. For that, decision making is very important. Based on the decision only, it is executing the code. So these conditional statements will give that execution and flow of execution to the respective code. So these Python conditional statements are backbone of decision making. They are used to execute the code. So why these conditional statements is, in order to make the decisions, these are the backbones. So if you want to make any decisions, these conditional statements are very important in programming language, and also important for executing the code. So if you want to execute the code, and if you want to take any if you want to make any decision, these conditional statements are very helpful in this programming language. So now we will see what are the conditional statements that are available in Python. So first one, if statement. So and also we will see what are conditional statements. So a conditional statement in Python determines the flow of code execution and its direction based on certain conditions. It means that, so what are conditional statement means, it determines, what it determines how the flow of code execution. It means whatever the code that you are given, how it's how it is executing the code, and how it is producing the output. In order to determine that, and also in order to determine the direction based on certain conditions. So how the direction it is give, how the direction is impacting the code execution, and how based on the certain conditions it is giving the direction, it is easy to determine those type of things. So this conditional statement is determine the flow of condition and its direction based on certain conditions only. It decides the control flow of Python program according to the output of the given condition. It means that it will it will decide the control flow. It means based on the condition only, it will control the flow. It means based on the condition only, it will give the output. So that is what this conditional statement is saying. And also, conditionals in Python enable conditional execution of a statement or group of statements based on the expression value. So whatever the condition that you are given, and also whatever the expression that you are given in the conditions, based on that, it will enable conditional execution on that statement. So based on that statement only, it will enable conditional execution, and also it will give the respective output. So we'll be using some mathematical logical functions in conditional statements. So what do we do is, we are using logical statements in order to implement the conditional statements. So why we are using, in order to check, in order to check the conditions in various situations. So there are various situations that we arise in the code, and based on that, if we want to check that, if we want to check those conditions in various situations, we'll be using these mathematical or logical functions like equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So these are the logical operators that we use in these conditional statements. So we are having different type of conditional statements. Among that, first one is if conditional statement. So what if conditional statement will be doing? we'll see in this lecture. So if statement in Python is the simplest decision making statement to execute a block of code. Block of code. So what does it will say means it is saying means it is the very simplest decision making statement. It means among all the available conditional statements, it is the very simplest one which is making a decision making statement in order to make the execute the block of code. So if you want to execute a block of code, you need to make a decision. So for that purpose, if conditional statement is very simplest among all the conditions. So what do it will do means it will check the condition. So if the condition after checking the condition, if the condition is true, it will print the output of that statement. Otherwise, it will go to the end of the block. So and also only if you have only if statement and also if you don't have any in block statements and also the condition is false, it will not give any error and also it will give output as an empty output. It will not produce any output. It will give empty only. So now we'll be seeing syntax, how the syntax will be in each statement. So first one, if expression. So whatever the expression, if you want to give, you need to give this in place of expression. If and expression. After that, you need to give statements. So what it will do means it will check the expression. It means it will check the condition. If the condition is true, whatever the statement that is present in the below the if block, it will print that output. Otherwise, if the condition is false, it will go to the end of the block and it will print it. So here what here it is saying those type of explanation only. So you can go through this and whatever that I have explained that is written over here. And also you can also use nested if statements also and also you can able to check multiple if conditions and also you can use if after if. It means you can be able to use if statement after within if statement that is called nested if statement. We can use those type of things also. Here we can able to see how the execution is flowing over here. So um, please wait guys. So here you see, here we are mentioning condition. So if we are checking the condition over here, if the condition is true, it will go to the code that is present in the if condition block. It will go to that code and it will print the code. After printing, it will come out to the end of the block. Otherwise, if the condition is false, if it will go to the directly, it will go to the end of the block because we don't have any other else like Elif like their statements. So if the condition is if the condition is false, it will go directly to the end block. Otherwise, if the condition is true, it will go to that code, it will print the code. After that, it will go to the end of the block. That's the picture depicting here. Now we'll see one example. So here see, I am taking a num equal to 3. So if the num is greater than 0, here see num is greater than 0. This is the condition. So if whatever the number that we have provided here, if it is greater than 0, print num is a positive number, print this is always printed. So if the condition is true, it will print those two, it will print those two print statements. Otherwise, otherwise, what if num equal to one? Next one. If num otherwise num equal to minus one. If num is greater than zero. Otherwise, within that statement, if the num is greater than zero, it will print it is a number. If the num is a positive number. Suppose if this condition is false, it will go to this block and it will print num is a positive number. And also print this is also always printed. So now we are checking this condition. Whether this 3 is greater than 0? Yes, 3 is greater than 0. The condition is true. So now it will print num. It means 3 is the positive number, and also this is always printed. We'll see these things, this print statements as an output. Check the output. 3 is a positive number. This is always printed. Yes. So the condition is true. That's why it is printed those two lines. So we'll see some examples practically. See here, x equal to 10. So I am checking condition. If x greater than 15, print x is greater than 15. So 10 is 10 greater than 15? No. The 10 is not greater than 15. It is false. So what will it will print? It I already said previously. It will not print anything. It will give empty output. See, it will give empty output. Next one. If else statements. Why here if else statements are using? So why else statement is introduced after if? Suppose there is a conditional statement if condition. Suppose if there is a mismatched condition, that is if the condition is false in the if block, um, it will come to the else block and it will print the output in the that is present in the else statement. So what it does means here we are combining this else statement with if. So what it will do means it will go to the if statement. It will check the condition in if statement. If the condition is true, the we'll see the output related to if block. Uh, Otherwise, if the condition is false in if block, it will come to the else block and it will print the output that is present in the else block statement. So that is what we are using. That's why we are using if else statements. So what if else statements means? I will explain clearly. So we are using if else statements. So in sorry, in if statement we are using some condition. So if the condition is true, whatever the whatever the statement that is present in for the if else if statement, those statement will be printed. Otherwise, if the condition is false, it will go to the else statement. So it will print the output of that statement. So whatever the statement that is present over else, it will print that as output. So we will be seeing some syntax over here. So so the syntax of the if else statement is if expression, after that statement, next else, after that else, below that statement. So here we are checking the condition. If the condition is true, it will print the if statement. It will print the or if it will print the statement. So whatever the statement that is present in the block, it will print. Otherwise, if the condition is false, it will come to the else block and it will print this statement. So we will see how the execution is flown over here. Check here. So here we are seeing checking the condition. If the condition is true, it will go to that code and it will print that output. Otherwise, if the condition is false, it will go to the else code and it will print the output. After that, it will go to the end block of the code. Like that, the execution is happening here. It means in this we are making decision. How we are making decision? If the condition is true, we are going into the if code. So whatever the code that is present in the if statement, there we are going into that code and we are printing. It means we are making the decision. So if the condition is false, if the condition is false, no, I will not go to that if condition. I will go to the else code and I will print that output. Like that, we are making some decisions. So that's why decision making is very, very important in Python, programming language. So like that, decision making is crucial for execution of the code in conditional statements. Now we will see the program. So the example is I am checking the number whether it is positive or negative. So now I am taking this number as 3 and checking that number. If num is greater than or equal to 0, yes, the number is greater than or equal to 0. Then print positive or 0. Yes, the condition is true. It will print positive or it will print the output as positive or 0. Otherwise, if the condition is not true, it will come to the else block and print negative number. So in the above statement, we are taking the number as 3 and it is greater than 0. It will print a it will give the output as positive or 0. Check. Here we got first one 0. That is what. So like that we'll be getting some input. Otherwise, if I take num equal to minus 5 means here we will check if minus 5 is greater than or equal to 0. No, it is not equal. It is not. So here the condition failed. So after failing the condition, we'll come into the else block and we'll print it is a negative number. So minus 5 is a negative number. Like that, condition flow will be worked here. So based on the condition, it will we are making some decision. It means based on the condition only we are making the decision and also we are executing the code. So like that, it is very helpful in that conditional statements. Next one, nested if else statements. So why this nested if else statements means if you want to check more conditions after a condition, it means you checked one condition, that condition is true. Again you want to check another more condition within that block. Will be for that purpose we are using nested if else statements. It means we are checking more than one condition. So more than one condition inside the another blocks. That is the purpose of using nested if else statements. And also you can use the nested if statements inside the if block. It means nested if statement means you are using if statement within another if statement. That is called nested if. So in nested if we will be having if else constructors like that. So we will be see the syntax of this first one. If expression one statement. After that, if expression two statement. Next, elif expression three statement. Next one, else statement yes. Next, elif expression four statement. Else statement. Like that, it is showing here. It means if the first expression is true, it will print the first statement. Otherwise, it will go to the next if block and it will check whether this expression is true. If it is true, it will print. Otherwise, it will go to the elif block and it will check the condition. If the condition is true, it will print that statement. Otherwise, it will go to the else block and it will print that statement. So if this is also false, it will go to the next elif block and and it will check that condition at that. If the elif block is true, if the that is if the condition that is present in the expression 4 is true, it will print that statement. Otherwise, at last it will go to the else block and it will check the condition. That is what happening here. Now, see the example here. So explicitly, I am mentioning taking the number. After that, I am checking the number whether number is greater than or equal to 0. If the number is greater than or equal to 0, it will go to the inside block. So after that, it will check if num equal to 0. Suppose if that number is 0, it will print that it has 0. Otherwise, if the number is not equal to 0, it will print the positive number. Or suppose if the given number is not meeting that condition, what it will do means it will not go inside the block, it will directly come into the else block and it will print it is a negative number. Suppose I mentioned, suppose I taken a 5 is a number. So I will check the condition whether 5 is greater than or equal to 0. Yes, 5 is greater than or equal to 0. The condition is true. Now coming into the inside if condition, now we are checking if num equal to 0, whether 5 equal to 0, no, it is not true. It will come into the else block and also it will print positive number. So it means 5 is a positive number. So 5 is greater than 0, but 5 is not equal to 0. That's why it is coming into the else block and it is printing positive number. So we'll get as an output number, or we'll get it is a output number, positive integer, positive number. Next one. Suppose take another number and print, you'll get respective results. Likewise, you need to check each and every condition. You have to go through that. So next one, chained conditions. Chain conditionals means, and also I will show practically also, if else for if see here for if else, I am taking an example, n equal to 15. If n mod 2 equal to 0, print n is an even number. Otherwise, n is odd number. The meaning of this program is, suppose if 15 mod 2 equal to 0. Suppose if I divide this number with 2 and it is showing the remainder as 0, then we are printing this is an even number. So whenever I take an even number and I will get remainder as 0, printing it as an even number. Suppose the remainder is not getting as 0, I am printing n is an odd number. So I am checking this condition. So 15 mod 2 equal to 0? No, it will give 1 as an output. That's why the condition is false. It will go to the else block and it will print 15 as an odd number. Understood? Otherwise, you take 8. Now you see 8 mod 2 equal to 0? Yes. Whenever you divide 8 with 2, you will get 0 as a remainder. So it will print 8 is an even number. See, 8 is an even number. Next, chain conditional. Chain conditional means you will be checking more than one conditional statements. It means you are having more than one conditional statements. It means you will be containing if, elif, else, like that. So syntax of this chain conditional is, if, after if you have to mention condition. After that you need to print statement over here. Next one, elif, condition. Next one, statement. Next one, else. So I will explain this syntax. So here I am checking the condition. If the condition is true, it will print this statement. It will print do something statement. Otherwise, if the condition is false, it will come into the elif condition and it will check the condition. If the condition is true, it will print do alternative one. Otherwise, if if these two conditions are failed, it will come into the else block and it will print do alternative to 2. So when it will come to the else block, whenever these two conditions are failed, it will come to the else block and it will print do alternative. Otherwise, it will print these statements only. Likewise, these are the chain conditionals, and also we will see some example. So I am taking two numbers explicitly and I am checking these two numbers. If x is less than y, it means if x is less than y, it will print x is less than y. It will check this condition whether x is greater than y. If the condition is true, it will print x is greater than y. Otherwise, it will go to the else block and it will print both are equal. Suppose I will take an example. Here I am taking x and y values. I am checking x and y. So if x less than y, if x less than y, if whether x is less than y, whether 1000 is less than 120, false. It will go to the elif block and see, check x greater than y. Yes, 1000 is greater than 120. Here the condition is true. It will print x is greater than y. Here you see 1000 is greater than y. Suppose I mentioned 120. See here, x is less than y, 120 is less than 120. No, false. It will go to the elif block. Now it will check the condition over here. So 120 is greater than 120. No, the condition is false. Here also the condition is failed. So it will come to the else block and it will print both are equal. See now. Wait, it is program is running. Please wait for that too. So see here, both are equal. So here in both if and elif conditions are failed, it comes to the else and it will claim both are equal. So the condition is spoiled in both the cases. That's why it comes into the else block and it printed both are equal. That is what. And also there are some notes what you need to remember. It is you have to have at least one statement inside each branch, but you can use the pause command while stubbing. It means while printing all the conditional statements, you need to have at least one statement. Without having that statement, you cannot run the program. This, even though if you run the program, it will show an error. Wait, how it will work means suppose here I am taking x equal to 15. Now I am checking the condition. So at least one block means you need to have after this condition you need to have one print statement. So that is what it is saying. If you do not have any print statement, it will print as an error. See, it has given an error. It means you need to have at least one print statement. Otherwise, it will print as an error. So in order to overcome that error, what you need to do means you need to do you need to give pass. What this pass will do means it will handle negative values. It means if x is less than 0, it means for this purpose it will handle negative values. So not only it will handle negative values and also it will prevent the errors after giving the statement. It means after giving the statement you are not at least you are not giving one print statement also. So in that case, it will give error as incomplete input. So in order to avoid an error, you need to mention pass here. So now we check here. It will not give an error. So in order to avoid an error in conditional statements after giving the condition, you need to you need to give a statement as pass. What does this pass means? It will handle the negative values as well as it will also handle errors. So it will prevent the errors from the conditional statements. That is what it is doing here. Next one. Next point is you can have as many elite branches as you need. So you can have many elite statements. So based on that condition, you can you can have many elite statements. For that also you can make an example and you can execute the code. But in coming to C language, you will not be having any elif. You will be having if else or if else like that. So here we are using many elif branches. So instead of that, in C language, switch is replaced over there. So instead of elif, in C language, we will be using switch. Conditionals can be nested. So you can, so what are the conditional statements that are there? These can be nested. It means inside the conditional statement, you can use as many as conditional statements. That is what the point is saying. So you can use many conditional statements within the block. So complex conditional statements. So for complex conditional statements, what you will do means you will use some Boolean logical operators. So what it will do means it will whether if the all the conditions are true, it will print it is true. Otherwise, it will print false. That is what Boolean will say. So here we are using logical operators like and or not together. So we will be using those simple conditions together, and we will be checking those complex condition statements by using these logical operators. After that, it will print that statement. This is what it is saying. So, guys, these are the conditional statements that are present in Python. If you want to do more examples, you can do by the concept that you have learned so far. So, I think everyone have understood my concept and everyone got my point. And also, please go through this lecture and also please learn this concept. These are very important. in further upcoming classes. So I am going from basics to advanced. I am not teaching directly because if I teach directly, you will not understand. So this class is not only for professionals, it is also for beginners. So everyone have to understand. That's why I am going from the start. So hope everyone understood my part. So if you understood my class, please do like, share and subscribe. And also please make a comment here by in comment section. And also if you have any doubts, please make a comment in comment section. I will see that comment and I will respond to that and I will clear your doubts. So that is for all the that is for all. So this is enough for today. We'll see some other concepts in upcoming classes. So we'll wind up this session over here. So thank you.